Right, I'm here with Mark Olly. Now, it's the weekend, it's the Awakening conference in Bolton, which is about the dark side of UFOs. Now, Mark and I have known each other for numerous years. You've seen him on the Big Detective show. He's a good friend of the show. I love the Archaeology and Metal Detective magazine. But I've never heard Mark talk about anything other than history, archaeology, ancient archaeology and such like. Today, a little bit different. Mark's been talking about the darker side of UFOs.
I have indeed. We've gone down the rabbit hole, I have to say. Started off with some physical debris, UFO stuff, which people will know that I was involved in the documentary in 2008, Europe's Roswell, which was about a UFO crash, and we ended up with some pieces of the UFO. Great place to start, because you've got the physical evidence, you know, shoot it's a duck, we've got it. So we did the analysis on that, and I've run through that. There's been a few exclusives that I've slipped in there. We've had freedom of information stuff come back, which has proven that it happened and that people were involved in some form of recovery. We've managed to say that the debris as well through analysis is dodgy, not what we would expect it to be. It's odd, it's alien, it's unique. Where it comes from, jury's still out. Then, and this is the darker side of ufology, Steve, who booked me to do this, he just said, right, no holds barred, let's just go for it, you know what I mean? Which is exactly what I did. You never say that to me, because I end up wearing silly coats and running around and, you know what I mean, throwing aliens into the crowd, which I did actually.
Not literally.
Not literally, no, a little cuddly chap called Neil. People will get that joke if they're into alien, you know, Neil Armstrong. Yeah, I'll explain it on here, I didn't explain it on stage. So yeah, we went down the rabbit hole and looked at how a lot of phenomena, a lot of what we see, and possibly even the concept of time and history and physicality, you know, is not what we think it is. You know, and there was just enough science, I think, in that second half. I started with the science and I showed why we can't see everything in the light spectrum, we can't hear everything, we don't know what's going on, you know. And then I finished off with a real punchy personal experience of what happens when those two worlds collide. And then there's a physical result, and I wasn't really going to talk about passing my dad, but the whole idea of the angel of death and how that functions, and well, hang on a minute, yes there's angels, yes there's death, yes there's the passing over, you know, there's bits of that you can't argue with, but then when it plays out exactly like it does in the legends, you think, oh, those guys knew a thing or two, which brings us neatly back to archaeology, history, metal detecting. You are dealing with these guys from the past. They were more intelligent than us, they knew more than us, you know, they played the game better than we're playing it now. And that was the punchline, that was where I was going with the talk, just to say, you know, we're not the big cheese, we haven't evolved into some kind of super race, you know, we have no idea how to run this planet, you know, we're doing so much negativity.
You did say, Mark, during it about us, well, more or less you suggested about our devolution and how we came so far and then it all gone downhill again, and we don't see and listen like we used to. No. There's so many other things going on around now that we don't listen to the things going on that we would have heard in the past. Yeah. We're on our mobile phone, our concentration's taken away, the television's on, the thousands of streaming. We can watch all the UFO programs, we can watch all the paranormal programs, we can watch all the archaeology programs, but doing it is totally different.
You kind of caught the underlying thread of conspiracy theory. Am I allowed to say conspiracy theory?
You can say conspiracy theory. It's your interview.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we went down that, because that's the concept of going down the rabbit hole, is to go finding things that other people are not finding. You know. I mean, I kind of, you know, just something unique for the interview. You know, can you imagine some guy, you know, back in the Mesolithic time, you know, and he's there, you know, making something out of flint, and he's perfectly in touch with his environment. He's like Ray Mears, you know what I mean, survivalist. He knows everything there is to know about his environment. Can you imagine somebody like that detonating a nuclear device? It's just like, you know, they'd have worked out that it wasn't worth doing because of the damage, you know. And again, if you go down the mysterious archaeology, the ancient aliens thing, there's this thing in India where there's a whole village that's been blasted to glass and it looks like a nuclear blast. Well, maybe they played about with it and they thought, I wonder what the consequences of doing this are. You know, they're gone. They're like, right, we're never going to do that again. Ever. You know, that's out of our frame of reference. And in a sense, because we've got the archaeology, that's pretty much in our time. You know, that's the early stages of mucking about with the environment in ways that's not correct. You know, Babylon and building towers, and I said it about the Romans, you know, building stuff that's still here 2,000 years later, that's pollution. You know, that is anti-environment, it's against that kind of thing. So that was a nice push at the end there, because you know, I'm not an environmentalist, but I care for the environment. So it's that kind of, you know, we all need to up our game a bit, you know. It's like you have to play the game by the rules, and I think we've lost the rule book.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally lost it.
Now, obviously, you've wrote multiple books, we're all available via Amazon, via eBay, but you've got a deal now where you're working with Flying Saucer Press.
Flying Disc Press,
and two of your latest ones, the Crystal Skulls and Human Heads, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to get it right, the Polychronicon of Arthur and Merlin.
Yeah, you're close. Yeah, the Polychronicon of Merlin, Joseph and Arthur. There you go.
So you can obviously buy them books on Flying Saucer Press. Look on eBay, look on Amazon for the other books. And Mark, what's next?
What's coming next? Okay, I'm looking at a small book, possibly on magic, but not any kind of, not just any old magic. The idea of, you know, you wake up first thing in the morning, you open your eyes, and you're like, well, what do I do today? How do I start this ball rolling? That kind of level, and then very much like the Polychronicon, that took 45 years to do the research and write that. I've had another one on the go for about the same length of time about the Templars, and it's Keys to the Temple. I've got to get that finished. That has to be done. I'm getting too old to. You know,
I've got two books, but I don't talk about them because I haven't got the bottle to release them. We're not there.
But when you do, have a word with me, and I'll see what I can do.
Certainly will. So anyway, Mark, we look forward to having you back on the show this year.
Pleasure.
One of the favourite guests of the show, and I'm sure everybody will say that.
Thanks for
having me. And obviously I've done a write-up for I've done a write-up for all guests today for the magazine. So that'll be on there, and I'd say nice words there as well, to be honest. So thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure as ever. The new, not Santa anymore, the new Dumbledore of archaeology and ufology.
There you go.
Cheers, Mark.
It's a wrap.
Cut it, boy.